start this meeting, call this meeting to order. I'd like to welcome everybody here in chamber tonight, and also those who might be participating in our meeting via our YouTube channel or through the internet. This is the regularly scheduled meeting of the Kingman City Council held at 5 p.m. on Tuesday, March 3rd, 2026. We'd like to turn some time over to our city clerk for roll call.
Mayor Watkins.
Present.
Vice Mayor Samily.
Here.
Councilmember Dykens.
Here.
Councilmember Savage.
Here.
Councilmember Staley.
Present.
Councilmember Walker.
Here.
Councilmember Ward.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. We would like to invite those who would like to participate in our invocation to stand. Our invocation tonight will be given by Pastor Michael Bell of Kingman Nazarene Church, after which I have asked Councilor Ward to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let's pray. Blessed be the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ. Almighty God, praise, glory, and honor belong to you, for you are our Creator and Savior. We come before you today to ask that you give your hand of blessing on this city board, this meeting, and upon the whole of Kingman. Protect all that work for this town and its inhabitants. Make Kingman a place of blessing and prosperity. Bless us now, Almighty God. In the name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, I pray. Amen.
Amen.
You follow me in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. The council may go into executive session for legal counsel in accordance with ARS 38-431.03A3 to discuss any agenda item. The following items may be discussed, considered, and decisions made relating thereto. Item number 1, awards recognition. 1A, proclamation, My Kid Day. And we'd like to welcome the My Kid folks here, Tracy Sullivan and Associates. Welcome here. I have a proclamation I'd like to read. Whereas, and of course, it's M-I-K-I-D, but you say My Kid, right? Okay. Which stands for Mentally Ill Kids in Distress, is an Arizona-based 501c3 nonprofit organization dedicated to improving the mental and behavioral health of children and youth through a family-centered approach, and on March 11, 2026, celebrates its 39th anniversary of service. And promoting mental and behavioral health awareness and supporting families strengthens communities, schools, and neighborhoods, enhancing the well-being of the city of Kingman. My Kid provides education, counseling, resources, and support to families of children and youth experiencing challenges such as depression, anxiety, ADHD, autism, and other behavioral health needs. And My Kid's service includes one-on-one family support, peer support, transitional age youth programs, respite care, support groups, training, education, health promotion, and community-based living skills programs, all designed to help children and youth develop coping skills, resilience, and the ability to manage their own physical and mental health. And My Kid is unique in that many staff members bring lived experiences as parents, family members, or young adults who have navigated behavioral health challenges, ensuring compassionate, informed, and empathetic support for the families they serve. And My Kid has served thousands of children, youth, and families throughout Arizona. If it's all right, we'd like to get a picture with you, and we'll have council also come down for the photo. Sarah will arrange us. I'm sorry to ask people who's facing. Me. Okay. Can I squeeze in between you? Please. Okay, there we go. Sorry. Take it close enough. You wouldn't need it.
Thank you.
Yes, I met most of you before. So.
Thank you so much.
What a great organization. And like I said, we are blessed in our community to have so many service organizations that help our families and all of us. Number 2, call to the public, comments from the public. Those wishing to address the council should fill out request forms in advance. Comments from the public will be restricted to items not on the agenda that advertise for a particular person or group. Comments should be limited to no longer than 3 minutes. The council may not respond to speakers during the call to the public. The council may direct the city manager to study the matter or request that the matter be placed on a future agenda. I'd like to invite Ms. Jeanette Duran to come forward, please. Welcome, Jeanette.
Thank you. I'm here today about this article about Arizona bill pushes for wolf hunting as part of a new management plan. This is garbage. It's not a management plan, it's an annihilation plan that GOSAR has come up with the ranchers, the wealthy ranchers, trying to push this through. I think that in the 1990s, almost all the wolves were annihilated by hunters. And they got them on the endangered species. They were incorporated into the Endangered Species Act. And it took 25 years or so to reintroduce wolves to Arizona. That's part of Arizona. Wolves are part of Arizona, and they're part of their ecosystem. And to allow GOSAR's plan to basically unlimited hunting by not only ranchers but hunters to decimate, annihilate all the wolves, because the ranchers don't like wolves and wildcats because they insist that they destroy their their cattle, which environmentalists have come up with a lot of stuff about that, and it's really, the wolves don't do much damage to the cattle. Occasionally, a young one or an injured one or a sick one, that's the cost of doing business. But killing off all the wolves is not the answer. And in fact, it would be very detrimental to the environment. And I would like to see this city council send, in no uncertain terms, a message to Mr. GOSAR and the federal, Arizona's federal people, that they're against this, taking the wolves off the environmental protection, because that would be a terrible thing to happen. And it would be horrible for our environment, because if you don't have wolves, they do an important job. They eat rabbits and, injured animals, and they're very important to our environment. And this is Arizona, and people expect to see wolves. So please send a message that this is not welcome. Thank you.
Thanks for your comments, Jeanette. Mr. Jared Marks?
Mayor, council members, I respectfully but firmly oppose your proposed 0.5% sales tax increase. We're already the highest in the county by 0.5%, and one of the highest in the state. Raising taxes should be the last option, not the first. A 0.5% increase impacts every resident, every small business, and every family already managing higher costs of living. It makes Kingman more expensive at the register without addressing the root issue. We need more commercial growth. Instead of increasing the rate, we should increase the base. If we want stronger long-term revenue, we must make it easier, not harder, for businesses to open here. Commercial impact fees and permit costs are barriers. Reducing or temporarily adjusting them would attract new investment, expand our tax base, and generate recurring sales tax revenue for decades. So many other cities are already doing this and growing exponentially. Impact fees are a one-time revenue. Thriving businesses produce ongoing revenue year after year. If we continue to rely on raising taxes instead of expanding opportunity, we risk slowing the very growth that would solve our revenue concerns. Let's expand the pie rather than making each slice more expensive. Kingman has always been a location, has had the location and the potential. City council and management must realize that we have what we have and exploit it, not the people. What we need now is a policy decision that prioritizes growth, competitiveness, and long-term sustainability over short-term tax increases. I urge the council to not consider the 0.5% increase and seriously evaluate a pro-growth alternative. Some things to consider. Raising taxes is reactive. Growing the commercial economy is proactive. We can either charge more or we can build more. Higher sales tax can discourage spending locally. Businesses compare total cost structures before choosing a city. One commercial project can generate decades of revenue. A temporary fee reduction can create a permanent tax growth. Residents feel the tax increase immediately. Growth policies show leadership and long-term vision. In closing, growth pays dividends, taxes create resistance. Let's choose expansion over extraction, and let's build revenue the right way.
Thank you, Jared. Dr. Rob Christensen?
Mr. Mayor, Ms. Vice Mayor, and City Council members, I attended the Mojave County Board of Supervisors meeting yesterday, where item 43 was discussed. This item was introduced by Supervisor Travis Ringdenfelder, and he requested that Mojave County lease approximately 5 acres to the City of Kingman for use in developing a new transit hub for the Kingman area rapid transit. The city manager testified before the board on this item and provided financial data showing how CART provided bus service to non-Kingman residents at the expense to Kingman. Several supervisors were resistant to Super Lingenfelter's proposal and desired to extract additional financial costs from the city. For example, it appeared that one supervisor wanted Kingman to waive the sales tax for Mojave County for any items purchased within Kingman. Given the lack of support by the board, item 43 was continued for 30 days until the board's April 6, 2026 meeting. If the board is unwilling to cooperate with or extort unreasonable concessions, then I request that the City Council revisit whether the city should subsidize or operate any bus route that serves non-Kingman residents. As the old saying goes, there's no such thing as a free lunch. That's a quote from Nobel-winning economist Milton Friedman. It is time for the Mojave County Board of Supervisors to learn that it cannot have something for nothing. I also sent a letter to the Mojave County Board of Supervisors regarding my opinion about this issue. I also sent a copy of that letter to Mr. Walsh and asked him to circulate it to the City Council. I want to thank the Kingman City Council for its decorum and respect of Kingman residents. When I attended the Mojave County Board of Supervisors meeting yesterday, there is a lack of decorum and respect shown by a member of the Mojave County Board of Supervisors to members of the public, along with attendees towards the Mojave County Board of Supervisors. I found the lack of civility and decorum shocking, and I expressed my disappointment to the Mojave County Board of Supervisors. I hope that the Kingman City Council never demonstrates the lack of quorum and respect witnessed yesterday. In closing, if you have any questions or want additional information regarding the letter submitted or my comments regarding this topic, please feel free to contact me via email or telephone. I want to thank you for the opportunity to speak this evening during this portion of the Kingman City Council meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Rob. Ms. Shelley Witt?
Hi, I'm back again. I'm not sure if it's on the agenda, so I don't have a point to speak of today, but I'm concerned about the Mesa Verde Mobile Home Park driveway being moved because of the Circle K and the future light installation. It's on the agenda for the business department report, so I don't have a place to speak today, correct?
No, not today.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Shelley. That is it for our call to the public. Once again, thank you for your comments. We encourage our citizens to please come. This is the forum to share your thoughts with our council and with our city at large and city staff. So thank you again. Item number 3, consent agenda. We have items A through J. All matters listed here are considered to be routine by the city council and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items. If discussion is desired, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately. Council, is there anything that needs to be pulled and discussed? None on this side?
Mayor, I'd like to pull item G.
Item G. Okay. Thank you, Vice Mayor. Okay, seeing none, can we have a motion then approving our consent agenda A through J with the exception of item G?
So moved. I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item G, consideration of an amendment to Design Professionals contract for Flying Fortress Parkway design and construction. The city hired AECom Technical Services Incorporated in September 2019 to complete plans for the Rancho Santa Fe Parkway traffic interchange and parkway, now known as the Flying Fortress Parkway. AECom is requesting a contract amendment for additional work, which includes work completed to revise the Grand Canyon plus or minus to Airway Avenue segment to prepare for bid, post-design services to be completed during construction, and work to complete the plans for Flying Fortress Parkway from Airway Avenue to Industrial Boulevard from 95% to bid-ready condition. The contract amendment is for a sum not to exceed $394,758. Staff recommends approval. Vice Mayor?
Thank you, Mayor. I pulled this because I am just a stickler for knowing where the funding source is coming from. So it's not on the agenda, and I just, for transparency, I want the public to understand where the funding source is. So I don't know if that's you, Manager Walsh, or Ms. Moline.
I believe I can handle that. I apologize for that, Madam Vice Mayor. The funding source for this is from the, and it's, sorry, it's in the backup here. I'll just put it. I had that right here. I apologize. Funding source for this is coming from the East Kingman expansion improvement project. So this will be funded under the same capital projects as the Flying Fortress Parkway and all of that. So.
Okay. And I did read the backup. I just want you to know that.
No,
I
yeah,
just,
I know.
for the public's benefit, I would like to make sure that we make that on the agenda items as to the rest of the items,
You
where the
got it.
funding source. Thank you.
Okay. Any other discussion from the rest of council about this item or concerns? Okay, thank you. Vice Mayor, would you like to make a motion then approving item G, consideration of an amendment to Design Professionals contract for Flying Fortress Parkway design and construction?
So moved.
We have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item number 4, action items. 4A, approval of artistic enhancement to the train silhouette mural at Lewis Kingman Park. Staff will give a presentation on a concept to enhance the existing train silhouette feature at Lewis Kingman Park with an art project. The black paint on the structure is oxidized and needs to be recoated, which has prompted this project. A proposal from an artist has been received to create a custom mural as a Route 66 Centennial project. There will be a fiscal impact of $12,500 to the Powerhouse Fund. Staff recommends approval. Manager Walsh, do we have anybody that's,
We do. We've got Jeremy Palmer
Jeremy,
with
okay.
Economic
Yes.
Development that'll speak to
welcome,
this.
Jeremy?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Thanks for the opportunity to speak about this. Let's get this loaded up here. Thank you. All right, they do it all for me. Okay, so good evening. My name is Jeremy Palmer with Economic Development, Project Manager, and I'm here to present the Lewis Kingman Park Train Silhouette Project. So we'll start off last April. We partnered with ASU's Project Cities to complete the Art in Public Places Playbook. Part of this process included a survey that went out to the public, and the results that we received back from them helped to inform sort of the origination of this project. 75% of those surveyed indicated that they would like to prioritize parks, trails, and green space for public art. We also asked, what kind of art would you like to see more of? And we had 77% indicate more murals in Kingman. Some of the takeaways from this survey include strong support for continued investment in public art. There's also a prioritization of the hilltop and the downtown area for public arts. And while anecdotal, there's sentiments kind of regarding residents who don't really relate to Route 66 or car culture. They want to see other types of art represented in Kingman. So that kind of brought us to this park feature at Lewis Kingman. We saw this as an opportunity when it kind of came up that it really needed to be addressed, repainted, or something to that effect. The story of this feature itself is really not well known. And through our own efforts and research, we kind of discovered that it was essentially something created by ADOT's sign shop when they put this park in 1968. So there's really no artists attributed to the work. It was more of kind of a memorial to Lewis Kingman. So why this is important, we're looking at the kind of the West Kingman interchange area. We're not far from basically having all of our traffic directed down Beale Street to downtown Kingman. Eventually, we're going to have everybody kind of pulling off to I-40 directly. But one of the tools we do have are our attractions, our public art, and our amenities to help entice and bring people from the U.S. and across the world into Kingman. In the current state, this feature is very underwhelming, and it's tough to see from Route 66 or Andy Devine as you pass by. This is a shot from Google Earth, which is also, or Google Street View, which is a tool a lot of tourists use to kind of plan their trips when they come visit Kingman. So we wanted to kind of illustrate, you can't really see it. When you zoom in, you still really can't see the feature in the park. It really does have the potential to become another one of Kingman's signature art pieces, simply by bringing a little color and a unique design to it. It could draw in visitors and citizens to a new project, a new art, and from there we could propose, adding a plaque or something to kind of tell the story. That was something we heard from a lot of the commissions where they wanted to leave it alone, let it speak to Lewis Kingman. Well, we feel, a pop of color might draw people in, and then we could tell the story properly at the location. So speaking on Lewis Kingman Park, here's some of the new additions that have taken place over the last couple of years. We heard kind of back to some of the feedback. I'll sprinkle it in and we'll talk about it at the end with the commissions, because this has seen quite a few of the commissions. But a lot of people, not a lot, but there's some feedback that we want to keep things nostalgic in Kingman. We want things to resemble the way they were, in the 50s, the 80s, or whatever time frame people are looking back to. But there's also this term called nostalgia, where we have the ability to mash up an old feature with some kind of new twist. Excuse me. So while, a lot of residents have some kind of nostalgia or something in this park, a lot of the visitors do not. And they're here coming to seek new experiences. And this park is full of the Cadillac Ranch experience. We have the Leaning Shield, and people gravitate towards these items. We can prove this via the placer data that we have pulled for King Louis Park. If you zoom in on year-over-year visits over the last 3 years, we've seen an increase in visitation to this park, and we can attribute it to a lot of these new features, as well as a lot of the work that the Parks crew has done with playgrounds, and it's become an anchor for the community for community events, the farmers market, the Route 66 Fest. So now turning to our recommendation for the artist that was selected. This group here is Bentenya. They visited us in 2024 at the Route 66 Festival. They were touring Route 66 and filming a documentary at the same time. When they were here, they really impressed upon our staff sort of the interest of the Japanese people in the Route 66 culture. It gave us an opportunity to speak with the producer of the group, and they kind of shared basically what they were here doing and all the engagement that they had when they were in Kingman, just kind of getting the word out about Route 66. So the producer, Bentenya, connected us with this artist who's Yukiko Izumi. She is a Japanese artist that's based out of Brooklyn. Her passion is to beautify and revitalize neighborhoods and make art more accessible at the local level. Her style is, it's really kind of simplistic and graphic in nature with some bold colors. She has a lot of experience working with municipalities, and we like that she could even make a trash truck look beautiful. This was a project in New York City, and it kind of shows her work is basically kind of creating these forms and shapes and putting them into like a cutout of lettering or abstract shapes. We thought that would be a great fit for this specific project because of the shapes we're dealing with. Some of the feedback we heard was about the work being authentic to Kingman and kind of representing this culture, our community. So part of her process is to actually find out the elements that are important to a community and then weave them into whatever the graphic is. And this particular one being New York City, you can see that there's elements of the Statue of Liberty. There's the bike culture. There's things about crossroads and activities in Coney Island. So all that is represented in this artwork, but still also being unique to her style. Here's another project from Denmark, and again the same idea where you can tell it's her style, it's her artwork, but it's unique to this community in Denmark, bringing in bicycles, deer, forest, and even Viking culture to this piece. So the proposal in front of us right now, and it's part of your backup, the City of Kingman will prep the surface of the elements in the park, and then the artist will take over and kind of take care of the design process, all the materials, the labor, and paint both sides of the train silhouette for a fee of $12,000. Some of the elements, because some of the feedback again being making sure this is a piece that's authentic to Kingman. We've already started working to float ideas on the icons that are relevant to us and to our community. So there's a few of them that have already been passed along, and this process with the artist, if selected, does allow for multiple revisions in the creative process. So creative freedom to a point, but we also want to make sure it meets our needs as well. And again, mentioning that this initial conversation has happened. We've had about 6 months worth of commission meetings to kind of get to this point. So there has been a little bit of back and forth to just see the direction that the artist would like to go in. So here are some of the elements in a preliminary conceptual design. So I talked about the process. It has been a little extensive. We've been doing this for about 6 months, but it did start back in April with the beginning of this public playbook for public art, which informed a lot of the decision making. We have had 2 meetings in front of the Parks Commission. A lot of these meetings kind of gave us great discussion on art, the role of art, and what the community is looking for from the various perspectives. However, no formal action was taken from either of the parks meetings. We also did present in front of the Economic Development Advisory Committee as well as the Historic Preservation Commission, where we received, again, some more feedback, great discussion, and both of those 2 did pass motions to proceed with this project with all in favor at both commissions. So this is kind of a final parting shot here. But we did get a lot of that feedback, and I wanted to pass forward. You know, we've had everything ranging from leave it alone, paint it black, to we love this idea of a Japanese artist coming in, the international exposure we're going to get, tourism we're going to get. We've had everything in between. We've had talk about concern over funding, and this is to, again, reiterate that the funding is going to come from the tourism funds. We have $60,000 already pre-approved in the budget for art, and none of it has been spent to date. It is available, and it can only be spent on the tourism projects or in the umbrella of tourism, as opposed to sort of these other capital projects. Our goal is to get this project, if it's approved, we want to try to get it done before October, before the Route 66 Fest. So, and the last thing really is, you know, our intent is not to take away from the history, but to promote and draw attention to this item with a renewed excitement for an older feature. So with that, I thank you for your time, and see if anybody has any questions.
Jeremy, first, thanks for the report on that. Council, any questions for Jeremy? Yes, Vice Mayor.
I'll hold my comments until after the public speaks.
Okay,
Thank
real
you.
good. Okay, thank you. So-
Thank you all.
Thanks, Jeremy. So you want to stay close, because I'm sure we'll have you back up here in a minute. We do have some citizens that would like to express their views on this item. First, Ms. Mert Glancy, would you like to come forward?
Hello, my name is Mert Glancy. I was born in Kingman, so I'm an old timer. I used to play on that piece of land before it was a park, and then really appreciated it when they planted grass and we played football. Just because there isn't a name behind that silhouette, it doesn't make it any less of a piece of art that's been there almost 60 years. And been appreciated by the community. Now, it's a reverent thing commemorating something that happened in 1882. And I think drawing drums and stuff on it doesn't help. You know, black makes it maintain its reverence. Now, I love art. If there was any other place that she could put that other than on existing art, that'd be great. But I just don't think that destroying the integrity of an existing piece of art is the thing to do. So thank you for hearing me out.
Thank you, Mert. Ms. Karen Fogg?
Good evening, Mayor Watson, Vice Mayor Samily, council members, and City Manager Walsh. I am the chairman of the Park Commission, which is the Parks, Aquatics, Recreation, and Trails. I'd also like to give a shout out to that past Mert Glancy. She was honored at the Women's Making History Annual Awards on Sunday for pioneering. When I was a city recorder for the Historical Preservation Commission, Mert Glancy was a member for many years, and I learned so much from her regarding Kingman's history. Louis Kingman, he was also an early pioneer. He was a civil engineer who surveyed and built several thousand miles of railroad lines. In 1868, he began to work at Atlantic and Pacific Railroad and was responsible for building lines in Missouri, Kansas, Colorado, and Mexico. In 1880, he surveyed and built the line from Flagstaff to Needles through what became Kingman, Arizona, which he is named after. He brought transportation and subsequently settlement to isolated areas. Yes, this item was on our August and November agendas for our input. Our members had a lot of questions and suggestions, and some of those were up there on the feature because we wanted to see more turquoise and browns and things that represented Arizona more when we were discussing painting of this 39-foot long metal silhouette of a train and Lewis Kingman, a surveyor. Now, it wasn't on our February agenda. That's why I came here to tell you what I'd like to say. I love the murals around Kingman and the cultural pieces that have been added to this beautiful city. Artist Yukiku Izumi, she does beautiful work. I'd rather see her work someplace else and not on the present silhouette train and surveyor. I feel putting our artistic enhancements on the 39-foot metal cutout gets lost. It took me 7 times to look at that NYC picture to even know that that was NYC. Maybe something else in the park by the artist. I do have an alternative suggestion. We would like to put that rail car bridge that would span. You could put it there by her, but I know it's going to be coming soon and it's going to take her a while to paint if it does get done. If you only wanted to paint one side and left the back side black, that's fine too. I thank you for listening to me.
Thank you for your comments, Karen. Okay, council, comments. Vice Mayor, do you want to lead off?
I can, for sure. So, just a couple of things. I think, Jeremy, I had a question for you first. To just refurbish that as is and get it back to where it was, what is the cost of that? Do you know?
That's a good question. I don't have that exactly. I probably want to defer to Mike at the Parks Department. We figured it would be about $500, just ourselves kind of coming up with a number.
Okay. All right. That's all I had for you. Thank you, Jeremy. Although I respect the findings of the ASU study, I too have a couple of comments. Just as I didn't want to rename Andy Devine, I don't favor defacing history like this. To me, although it would be bright and vibrant and pull people off the street, and give them a photo op, I just think that we would be losing the theme that it was intended for. And you know what, we have to preserve our history in our community. We just have to. And I am in favor, Karen, of doing something on the bridge that's going across. I would like to see the artist come and do something new. I love the Cadillac Ranch addition. I love the Route 66 shield. I don't know why we have to repurpose this art. And so I just, I'm in favor of installing a new project rather than just, and recoding this one rather than just deface the history that we have. I was very supportive of your, also your comments, so I will not be supporting this. I think that we can do something different with the artist, and I appreciate the opportunity that she's giving us, and wants to contribute to our community, but I think that we can do something different at that park and add to it, not repurpose. Those are my comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Councilor Savage.
History buff as well. I understand the want for it, primarily for the 100th anniversary of 66. I don't see it being a permanent mural at all. The pastel colors actually blind me. I don't think it fits this area at all. I would possibly be open to temporary one side. Not the whole train. So if you want to do something for the event itself and maybe have it up for 6 months or a year and then refurbish it back to its original condition, I would support something along those lines. But to have something permanently on both sides of that, nah, I'm not for that either. So if there's wiggle room there to do something temporary for the festival, and there seems some hesitation that it might be done in time for the festival. Is there clarification that if that, we do move forward with something like, it would be done on time?
Yeah, Councilman Schaub, it's in the agreement is, I think she has about a 4 to 6 week period to get the work completed. So it would be done,
Completed.
yeah, assuming we get the approval timely.
On the proofs, basically. All right, so there's time for that. But that's kind of where I stand. I'm not totally for it. I'm not totally against it. I'm supporting part of it for the event itself, but not permanently.
Thank you, Councillor Savage. Councillor Dykens.
I was thinking I was gonna be the only one standing this way, but I am not in favor of this either. I like history, as everybody else has been saying. The city is doing everything in its power to promote Route 66, which is our history. They're trying to promote neon signs that puts back to the history. To me, this should stay the way it is, or if it's difficult to see it from a particular road, put a outside little thin white border around it to give it just a little bit of contrast for ease of seeing it. But I'm not in favor of doing what this proposal is. I was all ready to say if council was all in favor of this, I still am against not the artist per se, but spending all this money to bring somebody from New York. If we were going to do this, why not have one of our high school or our high schools do a competition, the college or somebody or a local artist? And if it was a competition with the schools, provide a grant for helping tuition for a college art class. But overall, I think it needs to stay the way it is. But I am not in favor of what this proposal is showing.
Thank you, Councillor Dykens. Councillor Ward.
I agree with the Vice Mayor and Jim. I have no problem painting the train. I don't want it to look like a circus train. And to me, that's what that looks like. I'm not an art critic, obviously, but I'm not in favor of it.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Saley or Councillor Walker? Councillor Saley?
Okay. I was the liaison for the Parks Commission, and I was there for their discussion. I just wanted to say there are people that are in favor of this project. And then, you know, I think that what I am hearing from people in the public, especially those of us who have lived here a long time, I think that the hang up is that it's on this, that art is going on this train. It feels disrespectful to a lot of people, and especially a lot of longtime Kingman citizens. I love the idea of putting it on the new bridge, putting something on some modern art or a mural on that bridge that's going to go in. I think that's a really neat idea that will help bring attention to the park, but also let people know that new bridge is there. And so I love art, and I've been torn about this, but really the feedback that I keep getting is, this is a neat idea, but please don't put it on this train that's been there for a long time.
Good points, thank you. Councillor Walker, do you want to weigh in?
I have to echo everything I've heard. I mean, I've had a few calls on it saying don't mess with it. Respect it the way it was. It sounds like we need to redo it. It sounds like it needs some love. Having a mural on the new bridge when it gets here, I think is a great idea. Draw to the new with new, but let's leave this the way it is.
Okay. I actually am on board with all that you have said. I think we need to leave this alone. A new fresh coat of paint, freshen it up. But I would like to see, I see parts of her art that I like. But as most of us, well, some of us, or we've seen it when we travel, we've been blessed to be able to travel to other cities. or we see it online. A lot of cities will have their city in big letters, vibrantly painted in some bright colors. And I could see her doing that on Kingman and putting that somewhere in one of our parks, and or in this park even, or maybe mounted on that bridge so people can see it on the one side. I mean, there's a couple different places where we could put that. Because I am in favor of art also. It gives color to our life. So that's sort of where I stand on it. Vice Mayor, you wanted to say some more comments?
I just wanted to add, before we take a vote, I would like council to consider, I would like to see something put into the budget to refurbish this and add some light. So do some silhouette or something that showcases that it's there. Our shield is lit up at night. There's no reason why we can't find a way to light this up as well. And I think it will really add to everything else that's there. So I don't know if we want to send it back for that or if we're going to put that in the motion. What do you prefer, Carl?
Carl?
You would if you're looking to deny this, then you would look to deny it, and we would
Correct.
bring something back that would have some budget monies to do what you're asking for. And it may be next budget cycle. I don't know, not knowing the costs of those. So that's going to be a deferral to the city manager and finance director.
Then I would like to make a motion if you're.
I actually did. I like what basically what you're suggesting, Councilor Dyken suggested it too, of highlighting it more, putting a refresh, and even just a really thin line of LED lights around so it lights that silhouette up. But once again, I know we have some citizens that are longtime citizens here. Would that be something that would be, that you'd like to see at night so it's lit up?
So we really shouldn't engage without inviting.
I'm sorry, unless I call them forward.
And we did end that time period, but you as the mayor can reopen it.
Well, they were nodding their heads. We'll get more feedback on it anyway. So, because like you said, Carl, it would need to be brought forward to us again as a budget item. So I think Manager Walsh has heard what we are desiring. And so Vice Mayor, I think you'd like to make a motion denying item 4A?
I would like to make a motion to deny item 4A, approval of artistic enhancement to the train silhouette mural at Lewis Kingman Park.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank
Now,
you.
Carl, these monies, this $12,500 is in this current budget cycle, is that correct? So there is no reason that we can't get the lights and get this refurbished with these same monies, not using them all, but I mean, they can find that. It's going to be less expensive, but please get it done with this budget cycle's money and don't bring it back in budget.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great. And once again, we would like to thank our commissions and the input that they did give on this. Oftentimes, we agree with our commissions. Sometimes we have to deviate a little bit and go a different direction. So thanks again. Item 4B, discussion and consideration of adopting ordinance number 1992, establishing a 4-year mayor term. Staff is bringing this item for discussion and consideration of adopting a 4-year term for the mayor. Ordinance number 1992 modifies the City Code, Chapter 2, Article 2, Section 2-19A, the term of office of the mayor from 2 years to 4 years, and allows for the change to be placed on the primary election ballot for a vote of the qualified electors of the city to approve the change. Council discretion. Manager Walsh.
Thank you, Mayor. As you're all well aware, council serves on 4-year terms. The mayor is served on a 2-year term. And that has been the way, I think, ever since we could find. So that's been the way it has. There's been some discussion in the past and even recently about expanding that 2-year term to a 4-year term. So in order to do so, it would need to go on the ballot. And prior to doing that, we wanted to get council's direction on whether or not to put that on the ballot for the it'd be the primary ballot of this year for consideration if council chose to move that direction. Just want to point out, timing-wise, this wouldn't go into effect until the 2028 election. So it would not be in effect as part of this election. So If it were to go on the ballot and if it were successful at the ballot, it wouldn't go into effect until 2028. So be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Manager Walsh. What is our sister cities doing, Bullhead and Lake Havasu City?
My understanding is that both of those have four-year terms
Four-year
for those
terms.
mayors.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Manager Walsh, Council? Okay.
I don't have a question, but can I
Or comment, yes,
Yeah.
question or comments, I'm sorry.
I've got a comment. You know, I've thought about this the last time it was on the ballot, and that was back in 18, I believe. To be a mayor for 2 years, you're spending 8 months of that 24 months campaigning. To me, that's a waste of time. The mayor has ideas, shares it with the council, and I think you just need a little bit more time to get more accomplished. Running a 2-year term, I don't think is effective.
Thank you, Councilor. Any other comments or questions? Councilor Dykens.
I totally agree with Councilman Savage. The term that I am on right now is a 2-year term, filling in for a previous council member. Yeah, it's like you're spending 3/4 of the term dealing with petitions and running for office and everything else. To me, 4 years is the only smart way to do it. So I'm in favor of it at least being put on the ballot.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments? Yes, Councilor Ward.
I'm opposed to it. I was opposed to it the last time. If you've got a good mayor, that's great. If you don't, 4 years is a long time to not be able to vote him out. And I'm reminded of 2020 and all the things that took place, not here, not just here, but all over the country, where the mayors were totally out of control with the forced masking and business shutdowns. I'm opposed to it, and I will be a no vote.
Okay, thank you, Councilor. Vice Mayor.
I will support this. And the reason I support this is you can get a bad council member also. So I feel like the mayor has one vote of 7 and they equally vote, as do all of us. So if you do have a bad mayor, then, you know, majority always rules. So I will be voting in favor of this. I do appreciate the hard work it is to campaign, and to campaign every 2 years would just be awful. So I commend you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor, I appreciate it. Anybody else?
Yeah, I'll.
Councilor Walker.
I support this. I don't think it's fair that it seems like you just get elected and then you're already campaigning again. And I think it's fine. Let's put it to a vote of the people. But I'll support this to get it to the election.
Okay, thank you. Councilor Saley. Any comment? You don't, and if you don't have any, we're good.
feel
It's better-
pressured to say
No,
something.
you don't, because I have something I wanted to say too, so we're good.
No, please go ahead.
Okay. This is from personal experience. I am blessed and fortunate that I was on council first, elected back in 2018, because it sort of gave me an idea of what council does. And of course, watching the mayor and how she directed the affairs of the city and represented the city in public settings and such, it was a huge learning curve. And so I appreciate it then, of course, when I was elected in 22 I fulfilled her term. She stepped down early, and I finished her term out as mayor, and then, of course, was reelected in 22 and again in 24. It's a learning curve. It's huge. And to learn the responsibilities of what you could do and all the different facets, and I still mess up. Manager Walsh can testify to that. I miss meetings sometimes, and I feel bad because it's not the man or woman that fills this position. It's the position itself and the respect that is given. And just by having your face there, what it means and what it says that you are concerned about our community. And I think that's important. So I am in favor of a 4-year term also. So anyway, Councilor Saley. No, you have my support. Okay, Councilor Dykens.
One more. And this isn't putting you in or putting the mayor in for 4-year terms. This is just, it's like my petition. Get enough signatures and I'm on the ballot. People can vote for or against, but at least it puts me on the ballot. I look at this as the same thing. We're just putting the issue on the ballot for the community to make a decision.
Well, and the worst thing, if for some reason, whether it was a councilman or a mayor that was really messed up and doing things wrong, there's always the possibility of a recall. So, or that, is that the right terminology, Manager Walsh? Or
Yes, sir.
actually, Annie, all of you could weigh in because you all are experts on this. But anyway, there are avenues for removal, let's put it that way. So, anyway, is there any further discussion on this item? Can we have a motion then approving item 4B, discussion
Mayor?
and consideration of adopting ordinance? Oh, I'm
Excuse
sorry,
me, sir.
Annie.
You do have somebody signed up.
Oh, yes,
to
yes.
speak on this item.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thanks for the reminder. We do have a citizen who'd like to comment on this. Dr. Rob Christensen, please come forward. I apologize, Doctor.
And y'all are probably going, oh God, that's that Christensen fellow speaking again.
We're good.
Mr. Mayor, Ms. Vice Mayor, and City Council members, I submitted a letter to the Kingman City Council regarding this item via Mr. Walsh. In that letter, I expressed my support for the Kingman City Council to permit Kingman voters to decide whether to approve or reject the amendment to the Kingman City Charter to extend the term of the Kingman mayor. Even if the Kingman City Council places this on the ballot, there's no guarantee that it will pass. However, there's a greater point. The Kingman City Council is showing civility and respect towards its voters by letting them decide whether to extend the term of the Kingman mayor. I hope that the Kingman City Council continues to exhibit civility and respect towards its residents, unlike another governmental body previously mentioned during the call to the public section of this meeting. In closing, if you have any questions or want additional information regarding the letter submitted or my comments regarding this item, please feel free to contact me. Thanks for permitting me the opportunity to speak on this item.
Thank you, Rob. Any further comment or discussion? Okay, seeing none, can we have a motion then approving item 4B, discussion and consideration of adopting ordinance number 1992, establishing a 4-year mayor term?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
Okay. Thank you. Appreciate that. Motion carries. Item 4C, approval of the City of Kingman strategic plan outlining the city's focus areas, priorities, and action items for the upcoming fiscal year. The strategic plan establishes the city's areas of focus and identifies the specific priorities and action items staff will work to accomplish within the next fiscal year. The plan is organized into 4 sections: infrastructure, economic development, fiscal and organizational responsibility, and community engagement and outreach. The strategic plan is intended to guide staff efforts, align resources, and ensure continued progress in maintaining city services, supporting economic growth, strengthening financial stability, and improving communication and engagement with the community. Staff recommends approval. Sarah, welcome.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council. Just to give you a little background on this item, back in December, Council and staff held a fall planning retreat where we identified the city's focus areas and began drafting a strategic plan. That draft was presented to Council at our work session in January, where Council provided direction on several updates and changes that they wanted made. Based on that feedback, staff made those revisions. One of the main revisions was to add a timeline to the main strategic plan document with deadlines, and also to redo the layout to make it more user-friendly. Tonight we're presenting the updated strategic plan for you. If you have any questions on the layout or any of the content, I'm happy to answer them, and we also have our directors here who can answer on any specific action items.
Council, any questions or comments for Sarah? Okay, thank you, Sarah. Seeing none, can we have a motion then approving item 4C, approval of the city's Kingman strategic plan?
I'll make it.
Yeah, thank you, Councilor Savage. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Thank you. Motion carries. Item 4D, adopt a notice of intent to consider increasing certain rates at the Surbat Cliffs Golf Course. Staff has been given direction, evaluate rates at the Surbat Cliffs Golf Course to try to get the facility closer to self-supporting. The proposed rate increases were discussed at the February 11th, 2026 Golf Commission meeting, with the commission approving increases to daily fee rates for residents and non-residents unanimously. The commission opted to wait to consider increases to season passes and related trail fees for a later date by a 3-2 vote. Staff recommends council approve the recommended increases as well as similar increases to season passes and adopt a notice of intent and set a public hearing date of May 5th, 2026. Rob? Welcome.
Mike.
Mike, I mean, I'm sorry.
It's all right.
It's one of those days.
Thank you, Mayor, Council.
I'm sorry, Mike.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council, thank you very much. It's okay.
You can call me
I'm
whatever
good
you
with that.
need
I'm
to
good
do.
with that. Lightens up the golf rate lingo. At any rate, I appreciate it, though. Appreciate the opportunity, obviously, to talk to you about this. And I really appreciate our staff, our new golf professional put a lot of work into this. And Patrick, our leadership team at the golf course, they researched a lot of stuff and put a lot of work into this, too. So, and this is a new one that's up here. What we found out, it was brought to my attention earlier today that we had it so that the senior and veterans on 18 holes walking were not getting a discount. They were paying more than residents. So it was brought to our attention. So we think that needs to be changed, and hopefully that will be a motion to approve that. But and so that's highlighted in yellow there, and that would it was suggested either $27 or $28. So I would leave that up to the council to make that recommendation. But and this is how we got to this. We gave the commission 3 different options to look at. They thought that the rack rate, of what we call it, is the non-resident rate, and all these other rates are based off of that. And these rates were based off of a 10% increase to residents. So it's not, and the non-resident rate goes up like 35 or 40%. So that's kind of what was recommended by the commission, I think, and so that's kind of what we went with, and they chose the $65 rack rate, which affects all these other rates. So that's kind of how we got to that. And then the other one is on weekends. Staff recommends discounts don't go into effect till afternoon. We don't want to fill up our early morning tee times, which are the prime time tee times, with discounts. We don't have to discount them. They're packed full. We'd rather have people paying the full rate. So that is that. And the green just spells out how we came to this. And obviously we talked too about the resident rate being the water district. And what else we like about that is we think we're going to be able to take the software that we have from our water department users and implement that with our Golf Now software. So it'll be a lot easier to identify who's a resident, who's a non-resident. So that's that about this was approved by the commission. And then I'm not sure how I get to the other page, but, and we can talk, I can answer questions about that if you have questions about that section of it. That's the daily fee rates, so.
Any questions for Mike?
Yeah.
Councilor Ward, let's start with you.
I don't have a question, but I'm the liaison for the Golf Commission. And a couple of them, their main concern was that they wanted people to know that this did not come from the Golf Commission, that it came from council initially, to raise the rates. And I just wanted to put that out there because they wanted it, you know, and, but I'm in agreement with Mike so far.
Okay, good. Councilor Savage?
Yeah, just a quick question. With the software that you're looking to transfer over for the residentials, what about the citizens that live in condos, apartments, that the water bill's not in their name? How would you verify that? Just by the address on the license?
By the address, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Councilor Walker?
Couple things. Mike, when was the last time we had a rate increase?
Well, we had a rate increase last year, a small one, but prior to that, it wasn't 7 or 8 years that we had one. So,
Okay, and then also, do you think we have too many rates? This is confusing.
I definitely think we have too many rates, and we always end up coming up with more. So, I mean, it's.
How can we simplify it, in my opinion? I look at that, I get confused, I'm like, where am I?
Yeah, well, we tried to make this a little more simple by putting the boxes that it's the current rate and then the new rate. So if there's some that the council would rather not have, we're open to that. We're, open to, and how it kind of got started too, just so you know, the veterans and senior rates were not approved by council in the past for daily fees, but we implemented it as a special, and then it just kind of got momentum, and they just stopped having it as a special and just offered it all the time. So, there's things like that we could take out as well.
I just think it might, it's confusing. I'm not sure how your staff keeps it all straight, but.
We think it's confusing too. It's challenging, obviously, but with the software that we have, it's a little bit better. And what else is really good about the software we have, if it's going to be able to be that these rates, if it's after noon, that they can't ring that rate up before noon. You can set, which is a good thing, I think. So in other words, it's not people giving special deals, which I try to stay away from special deals. I think it's important that we treat every customer the same and try to be consistent in what we do. So our staff really understands this better than somebody to look at it. I mean, it is challenging with all that we have, and that's just the daily fee rates, obviously, and there's a whole nother page of the season passes. So at any rate, I can move on to the...
Do you want to have more?
No, when we get to the next page, I'll have more.
Okay. Vice Mayor.
I'll save mine till the end.
Mayor?
Yes. Yes, Councilor Dykens.
Two things now, actually. Yes, the chart is very confusing, but if we adopt this, won't the chart be cut in half? Because it's not going to show a current versus 26.
Right.
It's going to
That's
show
exactly-
the one thing.
That's exactly right.
Okay. Second thing, thank you for showing a discount for the seniors and veterans. But when the time comes, I'm going to make a recommendation it not be $28, that it be $27, to make it equal with the rest of what the chart shows. Because there's $2 difference throughout the chart where just this little bit is just showing the one. So to make it the same, not $1, not that $1 makes a big deal, but to make it the same throughout.
Okay, good suggestion.
And if I could, the rate that we're talking about is 18 holes walking, and hardly any of the people we're talking about, and seniors and veterans, not very many of them walk, so it's really not going to affect much. Most of them are cart users, so.
Okay. Any other comment? Yes, Councilor Saley.
I have two questions. One, when you talk about the water bill as being proof that you live in Kingman, are you asking people to have a trash bill? Because those are the Kingman residents, but we do have water service outside of the city limits.
Yes, we do. And our thought obviously that the water users are what pay for the water at all of our parks, all of our golf course, at City Complex, and that's why the water district was selected. And we could do the trash service if that's what the council would rather see. We just don't feel like it should be Golden Valley and Valley Vista, and that's kind of what we're trying to get away from. In the past, it was Kingman Unified School District, and those are pretty far out too, some of them. So we're just trying to get it so. And if the city of Kingman had a property tax, then I would say it should only be people that pay city of Kingman property tax, but we don't have that. So that's what we're trying to just get it closer to that.
Okay. I bring it up just because so many people are confused about whether or not they actually live in the city limits. And you're saying they live in Kingman, but not all of them really do live in the city limits if you just go by the water. So that's why I just wanted to clarify how you're handling that. And the other question I have is, it says on our agenda that increases for the season passes and related trail fees will be looked at a later date. Why are we waiting to look at those, and when can we expect to hear a recommendation on that?
Well, our recommendation is that we accept these that are up here now, and that's what these are. The commission wanted to hold off and talk about it more, and a couple of them did it, and talk about it more, and then implement it a little, not 10%, which we know that 10% added on to these rates is still a very good deal for anybody who has a season pass in the city of Kingman. Our golf course is a very good golf course, and when you look at rates that other places have, our rates are definitely a very good deal. So
So you are recommending
we're recommending
that
we're
increase,
recommending all
but
these
the
two.
commission,
Staff recommends, right.
was not.
Yeah, the commission wanted to wait and talk about it and implement them later, little by little, and we don't think 10% is that much to implement them, so.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Vice Mayor?
Since Counselor Staley went there, I'll go there too. So, yes, I do take issue with us not getting a recommendation from the commission for rate increases for season passes. The goal and the directive from council down to the golf commission is to get the golf course in a at least revenue neutral position. We cannot continue to keep doing the same things that we're doing, and we're making improvements, and we've spent a lot of money on the golf course. So I'm also discouraged that the commission wanted it on the record that these rate increases did not come from them. So I say to the commission that I am disappointed that you're sitting on a commission where you've been given a directive from council to make the golf course profitable or at least revenue neutral. We take that very serious. We have had several discussions in there. We are very split on our council as far as how we sit in the golf course, and should we have it? Is it quality of life? You know, it's bleeding, you know, how do we fix this? So I am in favor of a rate increase for season pass holders at the 10%. And again, I do think that is a great value for our season pass holders. We need to start getting this revenue in. And the only way to do that, I think, to take it back to the commission and let them continue to discuss about it, is not helping our city with our overall goals. So I only say this to you to put it on the record, so hopefully the Golf Commission is listening, but I am going to support that rate increase for season pass holders as well. To Councilor Staley's point, I am in favor of the water bill. You know, if you're a ratepayer and you're paying into the water bill, you're paying into the golf course, and it's quality of life, and that's what we talk about. So, you know, I am in favor of using that as a qualifier for being a resident, to get the resident rate. So, yeah, that's what I had to say, is that I think we should move ahead with this, and let's start making money at the golf course, please.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Councilor Walker, I know you wanted to wait for page 2. Here it is.
I just had a question on the semi-annual pass that says we're deleting. It was never approved by council. Was that?
What we do, we're not really deleting it. We're still going to have one, but it's going to be called, you see where it's on there, it's going to be a 6-month pass. Okay. So we're still going to have one.
If you're a snowbird, you can pick your months?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And it's slightly more than half of what the yearly one is. So, right, yeah, that's.
Because I know other courses in other towns.
Yeah.
Snowbird deal where you can pick your months.
Now you can pick them, right, that's what you can do, so.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Counselor, for bringing that up. Any other comments or questions for Mike? Or comments about this? Okay, Mike, I think you've seen the direction we want to go as a council. That, of course, we want to include, just raise all the rates at the same time, no reason to wait. And of course, this will be brought forward, as it mentions, that it'll come forward again in council and as a public hearing on May 5th, 2026. So can we have a motion then approving item 4D, adopt a notice of intent to consider increasing certain rates at the Surbat Cliffs Golf Course?
So moved.
I'll second that, but I also want to make sure that we include in the motion that we are going to increase the season pass holders as well at a 10% increase.
Okay.
I agree.
We have a motion and then we have a second.
Discussion?
Yes. Councilor Dykens.
The little tiny thing about changing it from $28 to $27 for veterans and seniors so that the entire chart kind of equals out correctly.
Okay, and that added to it. Okay, Mike? Yep. Okay.
But that has to go to them.
Is that, once again, the motion, are you fine with that,
I'm
Councilor
fine
Ward?
with that change.
I'll second that amendment.
Carl?
Okay. You have a motion to approve as presented, then I'm asking for a motion that would amend that original motion to add to include the change which has to be seconded.
We have, just to clarify, my interpretation is we have a motion to approve the agenda item, and then I seconded, but I also asked to increase the annual pass holder by 10%.
Right.
Counselor Ward amended his motion, I seconded it. Then Counselor Dykens had discussion, and Counselor Ward amended, and I seconded his amendment.
If you all are clear,
We are good. We need to vote, Carl.
I'm okay with that, but I think what we want is clarity on exactly what we're doing. So it would be good to state.
Do you want me to redo it, Carl?
We can do that too.
Well, can we just ask Clerk Meredith to restate the motion?
I can restate the motion. I would say for our record purposes, it would be best, now that council knows all of the things that you want, to maybe withdraw those motions and do a fresh, clean motion. I would also note that the staff recommendation does include the portion that Vice Mayor is requesting, so that didn't need to be an additional thing. Is that
Correct.
okay,
You're
Attorney
correct.
Cooper?
Attorney Cooper agrees that it would be really clear if you started all over by withdrawing your current motions.
We can do that, Carl. We want to be correct, and clarity is important.
These rates are so confusing.
Do I need it? So would you prefer that I withdraw my second?
Correct, if we just withdrew all our motions. that are
So-
standing,
Withdraw my motion.
Duly noted.
And then start a new motion,
Okay.
knowing that the staff's recommendation already does include what you were asking for.
That's right.
So the only additional item would be what Councilman Dykens was looking at, if that was added to the motion.
Okay. So then, can we have a motion adopting item 4D, adopt a notice of intent to consider increasing certain rates at the Surbat Cliffs Golf Course with the qualifier that, Mr. Dykens?
Legally speaking here, under 18, you took it off the thing.
18 holes walking.
On the 18-hole walking, that the seniors and the veterans pass be reduced from 28 each to 27 each, so that it sets all of the rates the same way.
Okay. Are we
So
good, Carl?
moved.
We're good.
Second.
And Annie. Okay, so we have that motion, and of course, once again, as was pointed out, staff recommends in that increases across the board, season passes, everything. Do we have a motion for that?
Yeah, we did it when we were talking.
Okay, good.
But yes.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Staff, for the guidance, we appreciate it. And Mike, forgive me. Okay. Item 4E, annexation, East Wallapai, case number AN 25-001. Consideration and discussion to further expand the proposed annexation boundary to include an additional 3,068 acres, of which 3,038 are governed by the Bureau of Land Management and approximately 30 acres are privately owned, located east of the current city boundary and Cherokee Street, north of Wallapai Mountain Road, south of Southern Avenue, and west of Flying Fortress / Rancho Santa Fe. Council discretion. Jason, welcome. Thank you. With expert help from Annie.
Mayor, Council, thank you. Before you tonight is annexation case number AN 25-001. This is the annexation for the East Wallapai area, Wallapai Mountain Foothills. Just a little bit of background, as you all probably remember, we started this process back in 2024. We've brought forward a couple different annexation areas before this body. Most recently in December, we came back and we amended the boundary to exclude the portions that were going to be south of Wallapai Mountain Road. And then in January, at the request of a community member and ultimately at the council's direction, they asked us to bring back an additional amended boundary to consider before moving forward. So before you tonight, I'm going to present two potential options for you. Option A, which would be an additional 3,038 acres, and then option B, which is 3,068 acres. Overall, if we were to annex the area in and we were to take in all of the annexation areas, it'd be 4,268 acres, of which about approximately 1,043 acres would be for future residential, 127 acres for future commercial. 30 acres is currently developed with a single-family home, as well as some agricultural uses, and then 3,038 acres, which is currently part of the Bureau of Land Management open space. So currently proposed, which is bound by the yellow boundary, this is the area that council's already given staff direction on, so this is what we're already moving forward with. However, before you tonight is the area that's slightly shaded in purple, which is option A, which would be to allow or to add 3,038 acres to the annexation area. The lands that are proposed, these are all lands that are controlled by BLM, so Bureau of Land Management. If they were annexed into the city, they'd be annexed in as open space. And then option B for discussion tonight takes into consideration the small area just below the yellow line that is north of Wallapai Mountain Road. And again, that's about 30 acres. This is under a single ownership by a family member here within the city of Kingman. And again, it does have a single family home and there are some agricultural operations that do take place on the property. So staff is seeking your direction this evening, ultimately to come back with a revised blank petition, final boundary for the annexation. So before you tonight will be options A or B to be ultimately amended for the annexation boundary. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Jason. Questions for Jason? Yes, Councilor.
The only question I have is if we annex that BLM land, will that change the ability to recreate firearms, target shooting, things that we do out there now?
Vice Mayor, Vice Mayor, Councilmember Ward, because it's under the control of BLM, it would actually stay under control for BLM. So what they currently allow for the purposes of camping and so forth could remain. I'll defer to our police chief, who isn't here, but there are regulations that discuss the discharging of firearms within the city boundary. So that would be something that would be restricted from a local level, but again, it is under federal control. City Attorney.
So my response is that we have a city code section that prohibits the firing or discharging of a firearm within city limits. There are some exceptions pursuant to hunting and being within a certain distance, which I don't know off the top of my head, but I can pull up, within an occupied structure. So we did have a question regarding archery, which is fine, but the discharge of the firearms, I'm not sure if that's something that would be superseded by the federal control of that property, or if it looks like it's an issue that we need to address, then we can address it in our city code as well.
It is an area that's used quite frequently for target practice and so on. And that was my only question.
Good question, Councilor Ward. Carl, isn't it a quarter mile within an occupied
I believe
structure,
that's what
if
it
I remember
is.
right?
I was going to try and, because there's a state statute regarding discharge of firearms, and then we have one that's our city code. And I was going to pull up our city code while we're here. So if you want to talk amongst yourselves, I will see what I can find.
Vice Mayor, do you have a comment while Carl's?
I had a question, and I was gonna go the opposite way. So I'm hopeful that bringing this into the city, the BLM land, we will be able to enforce ordinances on camping and squatting and all those things that happen up there. So tell me what you know about that and how this will change.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, I would say very similarly, because this land is federally controlled under BLM, they do allow for camping upon their properties upon obtaining their permit. I think the best thing I could probably give you as a description, if you were driving into Lake Havasu, there are areas within the city boundary that are BLM lands that they do allow for camping with their permits that are obtained. I believe it does allow for 6 months at a time.
And I'm talking about those that would not apply for a permit.
So those not applying for a permit, again, under BLM land, they would still have the jurisdiction on their land.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Good question, Vice Mayor. Any other comment or question for Jason right now while Carl's perusing the city code?
I'm almost there.
Yes, Councilor Saley.
Between option A and option B, can you talk a little bit, why are we being given that option, and why would we consider notching out that little?
So specifically under option A, because it's BLM land, there's not really an opportunity for them to vote as part of the annexation process. The other portion that's under option B, that is an occupied land, it is a Kingman, a resident that is familiar with the city, they would have voting rights with it. So should they come forward, should they choose to not want to be part of the annexation, they would have the opportunity to actually protest it.
Okay. And do we know where they stand on this?
We have had discussions and conversations with the property owners. At this point in time, we believe that we've answered their questions satisfactorily and that they're in favor of it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Saley. Councilor Dykens?
I don't want to sound like I have no clue what we're doing here, but I guess I will. When we annex BLM land, does that mean that we can develop it or anything, or is it BLM land? And if it stays like that, then what's the whole purpose of going through the process of annexing it? What benefits do we get if we annex it versus leaving it alone?
Question, Jason, I'm sure, or Manager Walsh?
Mayor, Vice Mayor, Councilman Dykens, the property itself, if it was annexed into the city, it would come in as open space. It would remain in that capacity. Should the city ever wish to program it, do something developable on it for open space purposes, regional park, something of that nature, I do believe that we have to trade lands with BLM because these would be lands that were annexed and conveyed accordingly, and I'll defer.
I believe there are opportunities as well, and I forget the name of it, but working with BLM, as long as it remains a public entity, as long as it remains with the city, and we're not selling it or anything like that, there are opportunities where we can acquire property from BLM for parks and those types of things. So the benefit on this is if we annex BLM, it gives us that opportunity to, if we do wish to expand and put a park or a regional park or something like that, we could make that request to BLM to acquire that property.
Doesn't the possibility also exist that, of course, the BLM could sell off or trade some of that to private development too down the road, which then would be, it's already in city limits, so then we would benefit from that too.
That could be a possibility, yes.
Yeah.
Mayor?
Yes, Councilor Saley.
Also something to consider is it helps the city have some control over what happens in those foothills in that area, and that I think it's a great benefit to the city to keep it open space, to make it a park, I know that there are some proposed trails, a loop in that area and some other things that have been mentioned. But I just think overall to be able to have a little bit more control over this vast area, this beautiful area, and allow it to stay open space and and be able to recreate on it is really important.
Okay. Counselor Dykens, did you get the answer you were looking for?
Oh, absolutely.
Good. I think so too. I think it's a great discussion on this. Any other comments or questions? And Carl, did you find it yet?
Yeah, it's a quarter mile like you noticed. If it becomes a problematic issue that we need to address, obviously we can revise our city code if there's a desire, and we'll have to check and see how it would work on BLM land. If it doesn't look like we have to worry about applying to BLM land, then we can disregard the firearms part. If it looks like our ordinance would impact that land, we can make a modification to the city code if we desire to do that, that would exempt this section from enforcement.
Okay.
And of course, if there's hunting, it's more, I think, of what Councilman Ward's looking at is just the target practice of just anybody going up and shooting. If it's hunting, you're good to go. If there's an organized range, meaning a supervised range by some entity, you're good to go. But it's just a random shooting. And I know I've done it years ago. But we can always address it
If it becomes a problem. Okay, thank you, Carl. Any other comments or questions? So, we need to choose whether we want to go with option A or B. I'm ready to make a motion for doing option B.
I'll second that.
Okay, that motion, okay, we have a motion for option B and we have a second. Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thanks again, Jason. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Okay, item number 5, we have 5A, public hearings, but we are going to, that item is going to be moved forward to a future council date because we need more information on that subject. So we will push that. We have item 6A, Department Reports, Legislative Update, Tom Dorn. Manager Walsh, is Tom available? There he is.
He is online.
Tom, welcome.
Everybody, good to see you all. Great meeting. I always enjoy listening to you guys talk about all your plans there. Anyway, just to give you a quick, I know it's the end of the meeting, so a quick update, and look forward to seeing you all next week for your day down at the Capitol. Our 3 legislators are very excited, looking forward to that, and we have lunch scheduled with them on Tuesday, obviously, and then meetings. We're working on some meetings, some similar from last year, and trying to get some different ones for you this coming Tuesday. With regard to the legislative session, we are day 51, so we're halfway done, right? Day 51, over 2,100 bills have been introduced, and 11 have been vetoed and 3 have been signed by Governor Hobbs. So we just finished what they call the flip or crossover week, when all the bills from the House have to get out of the House and vice versa out of the Senate. So if bills were not heard in committee, they're dead. So of these 2,000 bills, which were really a waste of time and paper, many of them are dead, and the survivors will continue on to the other chamber. We fully expect a lot of bills to be amended. Now is the time where we really have to spend a lot of time looking at amendments, because you don't know what dead bill is now being amended on to a germane bill. And last year when we had Kingman Day at the Capitol, we decided to keep it around this time, because now, instead of wasting time talking to them about a bill that didn't make it, now we know what bills are still alive. And so over the next week here, really want to encourage you to, and if you have any questions, if I can help you with anything on answering some questions regarding legislation, we're in the perfect time, because now bills that are alive, we can talk to our legislators as well as others while we're down there at the Capitol, including the governor's office. So the next, just so you know, timeline for the legislature, the next deadline is March 27th. And then that's when all the Senate bills have to be heard in the House and the House bills be heard in the Senate. And then there's one extra week for the appropriations committees to meet. And then it's Easter weekend. I always call it Lazarus week because all the dead bills come back at the very last second to get on an agenda, and all the dead bills come back. Anyway, and then we will be done on the 100th day, which is April 21st. So just looking forward to that. It's been my experience every time we have and I've told you this before, a Democrat governor with a Republican legislature, we're usually there well into May and often into June. So we'll see what happens, especially in an election year. With regard to mayor and council members, with regard to some of the big bills that are out there, of course, we have the RTAC, the Regional Transportation Advisory Council legislation that takes all the bills, all the priority transportation projects from WACOG and all the other COGs and put it into a bill. Representative Biasucci being the chair of the Transportation Committee. He is the sponsor of that bill. And as you know, we've got 9 million requests in there for Rancho Santa Fe, 1.5 for Bank Street, between Grace Neal Parkway and Calle de Castano. I'm just reading this here. And then the 7.3 for the Flying Fortress. So we have a lot of requests out there. And I was talking to Representative Biasucci about it. And he said, you know, we'll do what we can. He's in a position, as well as Representative Gillette and Senator Angus, to fight for everything they can for District 30. And they know that these projects are important to the city of Kingman, especially Representative Gillette being from there. So they're going to push as hard as they can. The problem is we have a real money shortage here. You hear that all the time, but it's true. And especially with some of the things that are hanging out there. In the election, the governor is not inclined to, she's really going to be pushing on the education funding, as she always does. But also this whole tax conformity issue that she has vetoed twice, that really throws a wrench into the budget because the Republicans refuse to send it up to her again. And whatever is going to be done on the conformity that affects the way we file our taxes, it will have to be done in the budget negotiations. Okay, so budget negotiations, as you know, oftentimes spill into April and beyond because usually if we get it done early in March, that's a good thing because you don't have all the new revenue coming in April. So when it gets past a certain point, that's when they start to drag their feet and wait for more money to come in so they don't have to make the tough decisions. And I have a sense that's probably what we're going to be dealing with again, because I've only seen, you know, it's interesting that the entourage comes out of the House and it comes out of the Senate, the budget leaders, and they go into the old Capitol. And I've only seen that twice so far. Usually you see a lot more momentum going. So who knows? Hopefully I'm wrong, but they just don't seem as quick to pass a budget these days. And before I talk about some of the bills, are there any questions at this point? I know I talk a lot, so you got to interrupt me.
Thanks, Tom. Council, any questions for Tom at this point?
I do have a couple, Tom.
Yes, Vice Mayor.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I know we talked about having white papers available for our meeting, and I know our meeting is fast approaching, but are we going to get some white papers? Is staff working on that for the governor's meeting and then also for our delegation?
I will save Tom on that one. We are working on those, yes.
Okay.
We're working on both white papers on our projects, but then we're also working on bills that are of concern to the city. So we'll have both of those to council by the end of the week. That way you have it before we head down next week.
Okay, great. And then, so I guess then for you, Tom, I just was wondering how many in-person meetings you're having with our delegation and what is coming out of those in-person meetings? Because I know we had talked about that at contract renewal, that we really wanted to see you not just passing them in the hall, but actually meeting with them and having conversations with them and talking to them about Kingman. So can you update us on that?
Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members, if there is a specific bill to talk to them about, I do. Senator Angus, have been talking with her regarding 1167, which is a priority, one of the bills that we're working on. It got out of the Senate this past week, 19-8. And so that was something that she has been working on regarding transportation issues and others with Biasucci, Representative Biasucci. I see him and Representative Gillette in the committee, the Transportation Committee, because I'm in the Transportation Committees every week. I talked to Representative Biasucci regarding the water issues on the Sacramento and the Wallapai. Talked to him about that. Representative Gillette, when I run into him, I always ask him, is there anything you want to pass on to the council? Anything I can help you with? So when I think about it, there isn't any specific bill that Representative Gillette and I have talked about. It really is, it has to do with the issues. So that's my update on that.
Thank you.
I have a question, Tom. And hi, by the way. On transportation with the HERF funds, we know that it's been going down. For registration purposes, because electric vehicles also use the roads and don't pay gas taxes, has there been any discussion about raising registration fees for electric vehicles?
Yeah, Mayor, Representative, yes, Councilman, I'm sorry, I'm so used to, should have said Mr. Chairman and Representative or Senator. Mayor, council members, councilman, yes, there's a lot of discussion with regard to registration changes with regard to electric vehicles. Something needs to be done. This is, we're getting into, so yes, there is legislation, but it's not going all the way. There is some legislation with regard to tax on the other direction, as far as not generating revenue, but gas tax holidays. And a lot of this is because some of the I think it really has to do with wanting to get Governor Hobbs to have to veto it. Look, we tried to cut your gas tax, but she vetoed it. So that little dance is going on too. But we don't want the HERF to be reduced in rural communities, especially rural Arizona, greater Arizona does not want to see the HERF taken down, so reduced. And so I need to ask Mr. Walsh, and to you through him, of course, how do you want to take some positions on some of these that would hurt the HERF? Because it's an election year, so they do these things to cut the gas tax, but then they turn around and complain that there's not enough funding for transportation projects in their district. And so I think, things like that, it got through the first half of the session, but those are some things that perhaps we do a white paper on to really drive it home to the legislators that you should be generating more revenue for transportation, not finding ways to reduce revenues to the HERF simply for short-term political purposes.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, Tom, continue, please.
Mayor and council, there's also some other, I already talked about, but there's other bills that have died along the way, the RTAP, the vacation rental issue. It was interesting now, as you all know, that legislation, now that the cities, after the moratorium, they could do more with regard to short-term rentals if they wanted to. However, the industry, the short-term rental industry, just generated tons of money to fight against legislation. So much money has gone in the coffers of the elected officials from this new group that's being funded by the short-term rental industry. So where there was high hopes by many communities from the resolution committee last summer at the league conference, that is just not going anywhere. So that's that. With regard to water, there's a lot of water issues, and I'm glad that water working group is going to be the day after, and some of you are staying over to attend that on March 11th. That'll be very good to go through some of those. It's not as big as last year as far as the water agenda, but it is still out there, with the INA legislation. Gil Griffin has so many bills, it's ridiculous. But many of those will die. And the governor seems to continue to have the back of rural Arizona with regard to water. Just the volume's kind of gone down a little bit now with the Queen Creek, the ag to urban issues that have happened, and Queen Creek has their water and Buckeye has their water. But there's a lot to talk about on that. So that's just kind of a quick look at it. Any other items or questions you have for me? I can go on to a few other issues, but is there any questions that you have on specifics?
Quick question, Tom. What is the temperature you're sensing on HB 2290? Of course, the TPT or sales tax change they want to make.
Oh, Mayor, Council, with regard to limiting the ability for a city to raise taxes?
Well, no, it's the sales tax where they want to charge where that warehouse where the item is shipped from. I think, isn't that 2290?
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. I got all my bills right here. Yeah, you're talking about the some cities are winners and some cities are losers. Where is Kingman on that?
Well, we would be a loser.
Be a loser
So we are against that bill.
Yes.
Well, I
yes.
think we are we not, council? Yes.
Yeah, most of the cities are, and so that bill is still out there, but it would be helpful, and I'll follow up with Mr. Walsh on the details of the actual revenue impact, because like the rental tax or the food tax, different cities have different impacts, and so I do not know the actual amount that you guys have, so I'd like to know that.
Okay. Thank you, Tom. Well, if you want to continue, councilors, any other questions for Tom at this point? Tom, do you have anything else that you want to share?
One last thing I do want to say, Mayor and Council, is and I'll be prepared to talk to you a little bit about all the ballot measures when you're down here. A lot of them are passing out the House and the Senate, and one having to do with prohibiting cities from increasing fees or taxes ever. And so some of these things are just outright ridiculous. And there are some others with regard to transportation, photo radar, all of that. But there, as I've mentioned to you before, it's the Republican majority is going to determine what they think will help drive Republican turnout at the ballot in this election. So that's what those resolutions are about. Some of them are about trying to get some policy changes made around the governor, and not because she wouldn't sign it if it was sent up. But for the most part, they're trying to determine what would drive voter turnout for certain things. On the flip side of that, there are some initiatives that would be driving Democrat turnout, which the Republican majority feels they may have to counter. So that political dance is happening too. And don't get panicked over you hear that something passed out of the House or it passed out of the Senate. They still haven't made the decisions. That'll be one of the last things they do at the session. Okay, now what are we actually going to send out and get on the ballot? So, but there is a growing list, and so I'll have that prepared for you when I see you on Tuesday.
Okay. Thank you, Tom. And of course, we will see you next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday, 9 o'clock. I'll have donuts ready.
Great. Thanks
Okay.
again. Have a good
All right,
evening.
see you later. Thank you. All right, bye-bye. Thanks, Council.
Okay, moving on our agenda, item number 7, announcements by mayor, council members, and city manager. Manager Walsh?
Nothing tonight, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Counselor Walker.
Nothing tonight, thank you.
Okay. Counselor Savage.
Nothing tonight.
Counselor Ward. Counselor Staley. Counselor Dykens. Vice Mayor.
Sheesh, yes, I do have a couple things. So I just wanted to congratulate the Jerry Ambrose Veterans Council for opening up their amazing facility that is going to help our veterans in our community, our homeless veterans, as well as provide them with wraparound services and transportation to medical appointments. I know that Mayor Watkins was there. We had Congressman Gosar visit us for that ribbon cutting. We had Councilman Ward was there and I was there. So they did a great job on that facility. And if you want to stop by, Councilor Savage was there, but I did not see him. But he says he was there. So if you want to stop by, please do. They'll give you a tour. They'll tell you all about how they're helping our veterans in our community, and it is definitely worth stopping in and taking the tour. I also wanted to invite the public to join us in person, away from your computers and out from behind social media on Thursday at 5 o'clock to our TPT work session. This is going to be an opportunity for you to talk. It's a work session for us to talk about the TPT, the increase that we are proposing for road and pavement preservation. And I want you to please consider coming with your solutions. It is always one thing to talk about everything that is wrong, but if you come with your solutions or, something else for us to consider, I think we are a council that listens, and we would be more than happy to hear what the citizens have for solutions to our issue. So thank you for the time.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I appreciate that. First, I do have a couple things I want to mention. Shortly after our last council meeting, that Friday after, of course, was the funeral for DPS pilot Robert Skanke, and I just want to thank our community for the support and prayers that they have offered for the Skanke family and support. It was amazing to see that compassion exhibited at that funeral, so we appreciate that. This last Sunday, I was able to attend the Women Making History, and this was the 42nd annual awards. And in fact, Ms. Yancey was recognized, and she is not here right now. She's left, but she was also won one of those awards. I think there was 10 women total. 11 that were honored and recognized for their service they give in our community, and of course in different categories. But what a common thread in all of that was a lot of those categories exhibited service too in our community. And I am so honored to be a part of a community where service is a priority. And I thank everybody in this room and everybody who pays attention to that service that's given. Thank you. And then lastly, I do want to bring up, of course, echo what Vice Mayor said about this Thursday and the opportunity again for the council, or for our citizens to participate with council. And then, of course, March 12th, we have our second Coffee with the Mayor, which is Thursday, March 12th from 8:30 to 10. And our first one that happened last month was quite a success. The room was almost full. There was a couple of empty chairs, but it was a great success, and we appreciate, I think as Vice Mayor said, get off your computer and come here in person and share your ideas of how we can make our city better. And that's why we're doing this, and so I appreciate that. That's all I have otherwise. And item number 8, council requests for future reports and updates. Any from council? Okay, seeing none. Tonight we do have an executive session. Item number 9, ALO license agreement, which Carl will then enlighten us with some more. So can we have a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And once again, everybody here in Chambers, thank you for being here and participating in government. We truly appreciate it. Everybody's hungry. They've gone home already. Okay. Well, we are back from executive session, and our city attorney gave us some more information about what is going on with Allo, and so that's where we will leave it for tonight. We are adjourned. Thanks all.